Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Studio 78 podcast. I am your host, Nache from NacheSnow.com. Welcome, my friends, to season 10 of the Studio 78 podcast. Can't believe it, as I mentioned in last week's episode with Nache to kick off the season. I'm really excited, and I'm excited to bring back a guest today that I know you guys will love. But before I get into it, just a few housekeeping things. We talk about a lot of things on here. And so remember, always go back to the show notes because I re listen to the episodes and I try to look up everything from the products people mentioned to the schools they mentioned to everything. So if you're ever like, what was that they mentioned? Just go to the website, NacheSnow.com/ and just put in the episode number and the show notes will come right up. In this case, it's episode 150. So we mention a lot of stuff. So just go over to NacheSnow.com/150. Also, if you love the podcast and you are looking to get organized, please remember to head on over to my shop, dreamsplansideas.com. I just released a Notion template for keeping your travels together. I also have a free template available if you go to my website and just select Notion, and that helps you get started because you know I'm a Notion junkie. But I have all kind of things over there, from digital planners to my original Life Cleanse journal that helps you just reset, change your mindset, and get started with goals. So please support yourself, support me. Go over to Dreams, Plans, Ideas, poke around and see if there is something that tickles your fancy. Okay. So let's get to this episode. So we have Sarah Matthews back on. You'll find her origin story on episode 102. So after you listen to this, I really suggest going back, hearing how she got started in bookbinding and printmaking, how she balances that with her four daughters. And it was just a great episode. And if you listen to it originally, when you listen to this, you're going to be like, oh my goodness, she was super laser focused and got stuff done. And so in this episode, we talk, oh my goodness, a little bit about everything. We just caught up on all the things from how she landed to solo exhibitions to her year of yes. She teaches a lot of courses for a lot of different places. And we just talk here and there about the courses she teaches, and in particular, how she was able to land doing some courses for Creative Bug. And then last but not least, we just talk a little bit about what it takes to get things done. Right? We talk about maybe an alternative approach to hustle culture. You'll get my thoughts on that. And also, she mentions that it's really important for her to encourage herself, and that's one thing that she's working on. And so, if this sounds good to you, stick around to the end, my friend, and listen to all the good stuff Sarah has to offer. All right, let's get going. Hello, everybody. We have Sarah back on from episode 102, as I mentioned in the intro. Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you for having me once again. I'm so excited to be here and to talk to you today.
Yeah. And it's crazy because looking back at my records, the last episode was published in March of 2020 when the world fell apart. So much has happened since then. So everybody is a little bit in a different place. So I'm so excited to have you back on the podcast. But before we get into what you're doing now, please tell us anything significant that we should know about that's happened the last couple of years.
Well, I would say my crowning achievement is actually having my first solo exhibition, and I actually had two solo exhibitions at the exact same time. It was crazy and daunting, but I did it, and now I got to find a new dream.
So yeah, kind of explain to people what a solo exhibition is and the process and all of that good stuff, because some people might not be familiar with it.
Well, usually with a solo exhibition, you have to submit an application. Usually galleries, they book out their solo exhibitions to maybe 1 to 2 years out.
Mm,
So they usually have what is called a call for entry. And so you fill out your application, you put in, and this is the thing, you have to have the work before done,
mm,
put all the together and talk about your artist statement, why you did what you did and why you want to share it with the world. And this was like right during the 2020 pandemic happened. So a lot of things got canceled and or I got rejected. So there were a lot of tears shed, but I kind of like said to myself, I'm going to do this or else, considering my kids were home with me doing homeschooling online. And so
right.
they had no concept of what we're doing today. We're Skyping today or people Zoom today. They are at the time, what, 10 and 9. And
Mhm,
so logging in Google Meets with their teacher was because every hour they would have to re-log in and be with another because they're middle schoolers.
mm,
So it was very tough. So and it was tough for me. So I couldn't come down because my little closet studio is down here, and I would get started on something, and then there'll be like somebody up the stairs. Mommy, I can't log into my Google Meet. And so I'd run up, log them in, come back down. Mommy, I got disconnected, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, ah. So I moved all my stuff
mm,
upstairs. I started with a tape. At first, I was doing it on a dining room table, but that's not really good for your back. It really isn't.
mhm, mhm,
Mini printing. So then I got a table. This is what is this called? A flexi spot
mm,
table that raises lowers. It's a savior, right? And so I was printing and doing things in the living room so I could be there and answer whatever they needed and still do my work. And it was more like a drive and a need to do something because I was stuck at home with four children, right? A four
right.
the youngest child was 4. She's about to turn 6 in a couple of weeks. The youngest child was 4, so she needed like all the attention and to be fed and take care. I know you're supposed to do all those things, but I'm like, I need my time. I need my time, okay?
I get it.
So,
You like just like
so
a couple of hours.
just something, right? And so I was like, I am going to make stuff or else. That was my, like, by any means necessary, I'm going to make stuff. And yeah, people said they didn't want my stuff in their gallery or whatever, but the venue will come. That's what
Mm,
my mindset was. So for 2 years in my kitchen, my living room, I printed and made things.
mm,
And then just so happened because I had one work at the Anne Marie Sculpture Garden and again, I did not apply. I had one work in the Amory. Oh, no, for that call, French, it was like all different artists came together
mm,
and they selected, it was like a curator. They selected what they wanted to be in that show. And I think it was like on paper was the theme.
mm,
And I submitted my work, the I Am Me print. This is a Whitbox print that I did with big ink prints. I think I did mention this in the last podcast. But I submitted that print and got into that show, and they remembered me from that show. And then they called me and asked me to do an MLK Day celebration. It was 3 days where I would show people how to print posters about love and prosperity and courageousness. And I do the design art foaming. So I showed them how to cut out foam to make their own stamps. So families came in with their children, and I went from table to table and showed families how to make their own stamps. And as a result of that, they gave me a solo exhibition for a month.
yeah.
I for that. And so that was like finally. And
Yeah.
then to be honest, it happened first, but that wasn't the one that was secured first because I was doing I guess during that, after the pandemic and doing all those printing for a year or so, people reached out to me via Instagram because they saw me posting videos and doing my YouTube videos. And they asked me if I could come. And no, they asked me about my art foamies and if they could their provisional press. It's basically a press that you can build yourself and then print like letterpress at
Mm,
home.
mm.
And so they called me to understand what my art phone means, how could they use it with the provisional press. And I said, well, it's foam, so it's going to get indentations in it, so I probably wouldn't use it. And so we got to talking, just normal talking, and then I mentioned I did letterpress and all the different things. And so a few weeks later, they said, "Hey, there was a person that was supposed to do an artist talk about letterpress printing. They're not gonna be able to do it, but can you do it?" I was
Putting
like,
yourself out there. Yes.
sure. And so I'm on their call talking about it and everything. And then someone asked the question, "Hey, if is there anything that you dreamt to do and it hasn't happened yet?" And I said, "I would love to have a solo exhibition." Set it
Mm.
up. And then after I got off the call, the person that was running the call said, "Your wish is our command. You will have a solo exhibition at the University of Indianapolis." So that was the first one I was secured, but the Anne Marie Sculpture Garden happened before the U of Indy. So, and that's two different like experiences because Anne Marie Sculpture Garden is within driving distance. So I
Mm.
pack up the work and drive down there and install it. But with U of Indy, I had to
Yeah.
I had to mail my work. So
Mm.
oh, wishing and hoping and praying that it will make it.
Right. Nothing gets like crushed or lost or
Right.
right.
So I went to FedEx and they have this thing where they wrap it for you. I was just like,
Right. Like, please, like watching their every move. Did you get that? Maybe you need to put a little bit more bubble wrap on that corner right
yeah,
there.
yeah. You want me to come back there and help you?
Now,
But
question for the solo exhibitions, is that kind of out of pocket for you as far as the shipping and maybe the materials needed that you need to set up the exhibition? Like, how does all that work?
well, every gallery has their own way of doing things. I'm an organized person, so I put everything together in Excel spreadsheets that has the
Mm.
pricing and everything because they sent me the because every place has their own way of collecting the data. And so I'm like, I'm not handwriting this stuff. But
Right.
and then each one was different as far as what they require, how they're gonna hang, what the size of the space. Because then you got to figure out, okay, so because of U of Indy, I couldn't go there. So
Mm.
I couldn't visually see the space. So I had to rely on them to figure it out,
Mm.
you know, that
Mm-hmm.
take myself out of it and let them do it. It was
Mm-hmm.
hard, but whereas the Anne Marie Sculpture Garden was more hands-on. I didn't just drop my stuff off, but I stayed there overnight and assisted them
Mm.
in installing it. I wanted here and there. It was totally different experience. If you are interested in doing a solo exhibition and then if you're selected, I would ask tons of questions, go visit the space, bring your tools to measure, even bring your work to see it in the space because you don't know how lighting is going to be. It's really, you have to, because it's your show. It really is because it's representing everything that's about you. You got to take ownership. But then there's times where you can't because you can't be there.
Right.
Because of COVID, I couldn't because usually they for COVID for the U of ND like solo exhibitions, there would be an artist talk and a reception, and they were like, none of that's happening.
Right. So it's
That's
completely,
happening.
yeah.
Sorry. And I'm like, I understand because I would be coming out of state to go to
Mm-hmm.
Indianapolis. So yeah, but I
Wow.
did it. I did it.
And
And I had
then
work. I had enough work because I did that for 2 years. I had enough work to go to both places, which I am so proud of myself. So
that's,
yeah.
and I was gonna mention that too because it's so funny because I feel like there was already a fire under Sarah, but I feel like there was this point. I don't know what point it was, but I was like, wow, look at Sarah on Instagram. I feel like, is she posting like every day? And
I
so
did post every day. Okay, so you did I talk about the year of yes with you?
I don't, maybe,
Oh no,
maybe
had to
because
be okay. So I think it was like summer 2020.
Yeah. Maybe
I
not.
was on
Yeah.
Instagram and Shonda Rhimes was talking about her book, The Year of Yes.
Which I
And I
love.
still have not read it.
Oh my
Haven't read
God.
it, but I
Okay. Can I
haven't
just
read
say
it.
one
But
thing?
talking about it,
Audiobook.
but she
Do
was
the
talking,
audiobook.
I will, I will, I will. But she was talking about it on Instagram about like she said yes to everything for a year. Well, I said yes to everything for a year from that summer 2020 to December 31st, 2021. I said yes to everything.
Wow.
Thing. I said anytime somebody asked me, I'm like, yes. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. Yes, I'll do it. I'll do
I'm
it.
gonna
I'll
make
do
the
it.
time. Make
Yeah,
the time while
yeah. And
also homeschooling.
yeah, I said yes to everything. I did like so many artist talks, and I mean, you go to my website and you'll see under my CV how many artist talks I did that year. Like I just said yes to everything,
And did you
and
reach
I
out
when
too?
God, no,
You just let people
never.
kind of come to you, and as they came to you, you were like, yes, yes, yes,
Yeah,
and yes. Okay.
yes. And I'm telling you that the last month, I was telling my sister, I'm like, I can't wait to the end. So when the first week of January, someone sent me an email. No, I can't do that. No, I can't. And I don't want it to be the year of no.
Right.
I want it to be a year of encouraging myself because I got tired and
Yeah.
burnt out. And I had to remember the things that I did because you can't, when you do so many things, you start to forget, what did I do? Because
Hmm.
even coming on this podcast, I'm like, wow, that was 2020.
It was.
It seems like 10 years ago, but it's only like a couple of years. Wow. And then here's the thing, here's the kicker. When I was talking to you on the podcast, like things were ramping up. My classes were running, and I was
Yeah.
like, yes, this is gonna be good. And then bam, nothing.
Mm. Yeah.
Like, no, everything was canceled. Everything was canceled. Like no classes. And then eventually, like, oh, we can do classes online. And I kept pushing for it. We're doing it
Hmm.
online. We're doing it online. Even today, I still say it was advantageous because even though I was doing classes through Pyramid Atlantic, but it was online, I was touching people from different. Even I had one student from Italy, like
Yeah.
you mean Canada and Washington State, and they were all in the same room together.
Yeah.
And it was really nice to be amongst people, your people, even
Yeah.
though it's on Zoom.
Yeah,
I
and
still feel
I'm
like,
giving you a plug because I took one of your courses, I think last year, the bookbinding course.
you did.
Yes, it was awesome.
You tripped me out though, because you were like, yeah, you showed me the link stitch, but I don't like it this way. I like it this way. I'm like, oh, okay, Nache.
Super extra.
Mike, this is my class though. It's like, you lucky I know who you are.
All right. Don't let me kick you out of this class. Don't let me kick you out. But it was great because there was just such a good energy and vibe. And it's funny because you just never know with online classes because it depends on the teachers, it depends on the students, it just depends. So there has to be like kind of like this magic that takes place. But I feel like you have the knack for it to make it work and make it easy for people to follow.
Yeah, I had to do this keep it simple method because when you try to do something long and drawn out, like I will never, and God bless people who do it. I will never teach Coptic or anything extravagant like that via Zoom. You got to
Yeah.
see me in person because I feel
Yeah.
like bookbinding of like a close. You're going to be close to someone to see what they're doing. You can't see
Yeah.
they're doing. That's what I was trying to say earlier. Like even though teaching on Zoom is amazing, there's this missing 8% for the
Yeah.
teacher because
Yeah.
I can't see what you're doing when I'm in a classroom with students. I can walk around
Mhm.
and see light bulb, see them like, oh my gosh, I got it. Or, the celebrations that happen and the light bulb moments that happen. You don't get to see that on Zoom, especially when you just see their name and it's just a black screen with their name.
Right. I know. I feel like there is a balance because
Yeah.
there's some things that I'll take online, but then there are some things I'm like, no, I have to take in person. Like I'm doing a stained glass course again this year because I did it like 2 or 3 times last year. But I'm like, I would
Mhm.
never take a stained glass course online. It just wouldn't work. Like you have to have the
Wow.
teacher there. Right. You have to be in person.
It doesn't make sense unless everyone had the ability to have two cameras and you could see what they're doing. And then you can,
Right.
in the moment, give them feedback. Because otherwise, it's like at the end when you do show and tell, it didn't work. So, we hold someone, it didn't work the same way that yours did. I didn't. And like, I couldn't help you shoot because I couldn't see what you were doing. It's,
Right. But no,
yeah.
so back to this year of so that makes sense because I was like, I don't know what is going on, but Sarah is a beast. She is up on here. She is posting every day. She's doing all this stuff that she's promoting. I was like, wow, there's this fire inside of her. And I think that's important for people to hear because I think sometimes people see people that are successful, and sometimes those successful people are like, oh, you have to have balance, you have to have this and that, which I'm totally for. But I think people are missing that for that person to now have balance. They were hustling like crazy at some point. And then once they got to a place, they're like, okay, I could take a step back. I could say no to things. I could prioritize a little bit better because I did this year where I put in a crazy amount of work. It depends on the season you're in, but curious to hear your thoughts about that because I don't know, I hear people always saying, no hustle culture, no this, no that. And I'm like, yeah, but at some point you are hustling like crazy.
Yes. And it's like, I mean, my calendar, like if we didn't put it on a calendar, I would not know. I would forget because there was so many things going on. But I would say, like Oprah would say, what's the word she say? What I do now? No, 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 no. What I know for sure. Yeah. What I know for sure is I am so glad I did everything because now I know what I like and what I don't like.
Yes, yes, yes,
It was important. I tried
yes.
it all. And now that I know, let me tell you, doing the creative bug classes is like the creme de la creme. Because you know
Mm-hmm.
what? I do it once
Mm-hmm.
and then you just see the proceeds coming.
Right.
It's like, wow. And then it'll be years to go by. Because I did one like at the beginning of 2020. Years go by and people are like, I just finished taking your class and it's amazing. And you're like, wait, that's so long. And by the way, the creative bud class, let me tell you,
Mm.
I have to tell you the whole story. So this is what
Yes,
happened.
please.
All right. So, and it's unfortunate. This is right after George Floyd, and
Mm.
all these companies were realizing that they just weren't reflecting the community they were serving,
Mm-hmm.
or they weren't reflective of the diversity that they wanted to show, right? So Creative Bug posted on their Instagram saying, hey, we recognize that we don't have as many people of color as teachers on our platform. And if you know any, tag them in this post.
Mm.
Well, somebody did. I didn't know. I don't think I've ever met this person, but they tagged me. And
Mm.
then I get an email, and I am a student of Nache. She doesn't know this, and I'm a student, but my website is
Gotta
right.
be on point.
So because of that, they went to my website and then they emailed me because I was like, if Nache don't like my website, I don't. I'm doing it wrong. Because if it's your website's crappy, she is not gonna talk to you. Anyway, so I've used you as a litmus test. Okay, so anyway, they sent me an email. And I was like, wow. So then they were like, hey, we want you to do 5 classes. No, no, it was the monthly challenge.
Mm.
So it's 30 classes basically, because you got to do something for each day,
Mm.
or 31, something for each day. And they're like, we're gonna fly you out to California. I said, not in COVID times. I,
You're like, uh-huh.
I'm so sorry, especially during that time that the cases were rising in California. I'm like,
Yeah.
then I have to get on the plane, sit on the plane for 3 hours, and this is before the vaccine. So I was just like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, no,
Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm.
no, I'm so sorry. I said, but I do YouTube videos. I can just film them at my house. Oh, we'll think about it. Okay.
You're like,
1 month went around, and they were like, "We've decided, just you and a couple other people, to film their own. We're going to try it out, film their own classes." So I filmed from my living room all my classes. I bought another iPhone,
oh, just
and
because I mean, the iPhone, if you had the right iPhone, you can shoot in 4K and it's amazing. I
exactly,
mean, it's
exactly,
amazing.
exactly. So I had one facing me and one facing down,
Okay.
and I
Okay.
filmed all of them. So it was 100 videos I did by myself. And yes, it was like, because the kids were home, quiet on the
You're like, shut it.
set, right? And every time I would start, I'd be like, "Today we're gonna do." I was everybody, the producer, the director, right?
And cut. Scene.
I learned so much. I learned so much. And so when everything was after I had my vaccine and everything, they had me come and do 5 classes, which the
Mm.
one just released last week or this week. Yeah, no, day before yesterday, actually.
Oh, woo.
But they flew me out to California. And man, it's like a well-oiled machine. And I'm like, I'm coming back. You understand?
You're like, you
Like,
don't know this, but I will be.
it's like I want this white glove service. Like I don't have to do anything but stand up here and make stuff, and then you do all the editing and all that.
Yeah, I
This
can
is the
do
job
this.
up here.
I can do
This is life.
hair, makeup.
Like yeah, I can't. And like I'm spoiled. Like I can't. But that was amazing experience, and I recommend having some. If even if you don't do it through Create a Book, but like filming it and then uploading it, and then
Yeah.
people can watch it and do their thing on their time.
I think that is so key. Now, quick question for you, just to help the audience, just in case they go with Creative Bug or who else might do the filming. I think Skillshare might do
Sure.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, LinkedIn Learning, I don't
Master
know if they do it.
Masterclass does
Oh,
it.
Masterclass does it. Yeah. But I feel like for creatives, probably the biggest two to me are Creative Bug, Skillshare, and
Skillshare.
there's another one. Oh, Domestika.
Yes, Domestica. Yes.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes. Even though Creative Bug might be the craftiest. I don't know, but maybe all three, not sure. So let's say if there's an artist listing and they're like, oh my God, I want to get on Creative Bug and I want to be like Sarah. And I want to be flown out to California in a beautiful studio with people doing this and that. Did you have to pack all your stuff and ship it, or do you like pack all your stuff and then just have an extra suitcase? Like, how does it work?
You just give them a list and they have it there when you arrive.
Okay. Clearly, people, I'm just saying I need to step up my game. I don't even know what I'm creating, but I need to create something so somebody could fly me out and just have all the
And
things there.
even if you forget whatever supply, they have this large craft closet that has all these supplies in there, and you just go in there. It's like walking in Joann's. You're like, wow, they have everything.
Wow. So yeah, I'm thinking Creative Bug is probably the top notch for creators.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yes.
um okay, that's amazing. So you go there and then after it's filmed, I'm assuming they let you know like when it launches, and then there's just, I guess, a negotiated or already set price of the percentage you would get from the amount of watch hours. Is that how it works?
Well, they pay you for what do you call it? For the creation of the videos, and
Mm.
then you get what is the word? An affiliate link. And
Mm.
so every time someone gets an account, then you get a certain percentage.
Ah, nice. But I mean, it is kind of like set it and forget it, right? And then you just kind of it's that making money while you sleep.
Correct. And
Okay.
if 5 year yes, I wouldn't have known about this. And now again, I'm spoiled rotten. So I'm like, well, that's why I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do that because it's work.
But I love this because just to kind of tie it all in for people. Because, folks, you've heard me talk about diversifying your income, regardless if you're full time and you do your creative endeavor part time, or you are a full time entrepreneur or small business owner. Like, you want to diversify your income. And then there's only 24 hours in a day. Like, I'm a productivity nerd, but if
Mhm.
all your income was just coming from your in-person or virtual courses, you can only do so many a week versus if
Right.
you have an online course that is already recorded and then, God, it's escaping me what it's called, but it's, what is that called?
Residual income.
Hmm. Yeah, there's a term for it where it's, it'll come back to me. But anywho, but when you have a course that is essentially pre-recorded and people can watch it when they need to, then you
Mhm.
don't have to worry about being there answering questions and in person. So it sounds like you do in-person stuff. You have this partnership with Creative Bug where you've created these courses that people can watch on their own time. And then you're doing these solo exhibitions. And I was curious for the solo exhibition, so people know, is that more, you know how like sometimes people write books and you're not necessarily going to get rich off of a book, but it allows you to be like a thought leader and gives you even more credibility in your field. Would you see it say the exhibitions are more for that, or does the exhibitions also bring in income?
So here's what I would say. From the other side, the Sarah before having this little exhibition, I thought, oh, I'm gonna have I'm gonna have all of it on display and all of it's gonna sell out. I'm gonna be rich, right?
Right.
I do is win. Win. No, no,
Woo woo. Yeah.
that is not the case. This is not the case. And after going through the process and talking with other people who've had solo exhibitions, they've told me that they've had a solo exhibition and then maybe a year or two later, then someone buys. It's really
Mm,
a showcase of the work that you're doing, and then it gives you
mm,
credibility,
mm-hmm.
especially when it comes to teaching in academia. I mean, I teach at Micah now, but the exhibitions happened after working at Micah.
Mm-hmm.
But but I can tell you that I've gotten more I don't want to say jobs, but like the prestige has been raised because I have a solo exhibition
Mm-hmm.
and now I Micah. When I say I teach at Micah, people are like, "Oh my god!" I'm
I
like,
mean, Micah is that's one of the top, is the top design school in the U.S.
"Great, I understand, but the way that I got the job is just whatever." It was okay. So you say on your podcast a lot that networking is important, right?
Yes, for sure.
So I went to a CBAA conference. I was a member. I had been a member since I got my degree from Corcoran College of Art and Design, Art in a Book. And our professors encouraged us to be members of CBA, which is College Book Art Association. All right, cool.
Mm-hmm.
So they said they were having their annual, no, because it's every 5 years, they were having a national conference and it was going to be in New Orleans. This is November 2019. Okay.
Oh wow.
This is like the very last trip I took before the world ended. Okay. I told my husband, I'm like, I'm going. Like, I put it on the calendar. I paid my money. I'm going. Right.
Yes.
And I, I went there. And of course, as Black people, we have a tendency to count. We count how many. And there were 5 of us.
Oh wow.
But that's
Yeah.
neither here nor there. But I was counting.
Yeah, I mean,
But
because it is interesting. It's what I do too, because I'm like, if I notice that I'm like one of three people, it's just wow, why is that sometimes, right? This is
exactly.
interesting.
But
Yes.
I'm gonna be here to, I always, it's like a gentle dance between I'm here and I represent all Black people, but
Mm-hmm.
then speak on behalf of all Black people. Like I don't want people to think that. Like I have my
Right.
own
Yeah.
opinions. So don't think that what I'm saying is for all. We think the same. No, we don't. We all
Right.
have our own thoughts and dreams and what we want to do. But anyway, I'm sitting at the table because I don't know anybody. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
trip that I didn't know anyone. So I'm sitting there next to somebody and I'm like, hi, blah, blah, blah. We're talking. And they were like, oh, I teach at Micah. I'm like, really? I applied there 5 times and no one's called me. I don't know what's going on. She's like, oh, I don't understand. I mean, so we exchanged numbers and contact information. And then fast forward to last year, they had an opening teaching artist books. There she was, and she remembered me. And she told her boss, and her boss called me because it was like frantic because the person who would normally teach a class said they couldn't do it because they didn't want to wear a mask because Micah had a mask mandate. You had to wear KN95s, which
Mm.
I'm all for, right?
Right.
Everybody had,
Right.
yes, right?
Right.
And so they were like, we're desperate because school's going to start in 2 weeks. We're desperate. Can you do this? And this still was in the year of yes. Yes. Yes.
Woo!
So my current boss is, so you want to teach? He was asking me, are you going to teach it in the fall? Yes.
Like
And I said,
100%.
and spring, and then the next fall, and then spring, like forever and ever. And I said, just one class too,
Yeah.
just one. It fulfills the giving back what I learned as an,
Yeah.
artist books to kids, and then I do the creative bug, and then I teach the Pyramid Atlantic, and I do, and
Wow. Yes, but that diversity of income, right? I mean,
right.
diversify, diversify, diversify.
And because of that diversification, I was able to purchase new equipment. I have a key light, and I have a Sony ZV-E10 that I just
Mm.
bought. It's 4K,
Oh, that is
wide angle lens, wide angle lens. And I tested it because I taught this class at the National Museum of Women of the Art. They did a teacher, basically like a teacher workshop. So basically, I'm teaching teachers something. And
yeah.
so I can put it to my laptop, and on Zoom, I could change from the camera on my laptop to the camera up here. So I didn't have to have two running at the same time. I
You are
learned,
the master of this now.
and that's all because I learned along the way and I applied the learnings and kept moving forward. And the funny thing is, my family were having like a family time and we were talking about what is a quirk that each one of us has. And my daughters were like, yeah, mommy, she'll figure out something and then she'll make it better. And then she'll make it better again. And then she'll make it again and again. I was like, you're right. Because I did start off with just my iPhone and then I had two iPhones. And then I was like, you're right.
But
Keep
you do
going.
what you
Life keep
can
going.
with the resources you have. And
Right.
then as you increase your income and knowledge of your how you can set things up, right? Then you just
Right.
continue to build off of that. I love it. Okay, so okay, I can talk to Sarah forever. Let me pull this all together before I get to my. Let me pull up
Right.
my
You
little.
set this up for 30 minutes. You said 30, it said 30 minutes. I said, well, last time we talked for an hour. Okay, whatever.
Oh my god, I be having goals, but then I just be getting. I know it's crazy.
Okay. She must edit it out because
No, I still keep it. It'd be like hour-long episodes, and so people just have to. They usually they love it. If they want to know,
I
they
listen to
know.
the whole
I
thing.
tell you.
And then at the end, you'll be like, if you made it all the way to the end, God bless you. I'm like, of course, I listened to everything all the way to the end. Yes. It was worth it.
I mean, because even I think of this episode, right? And I'm so excited to air it because I think number one, when people listen to 102 and just kind of get that foundation, right? Like where you started, like your whole story. And then just what can happen within a 2 year period.
Yes.
In a two
Yes.
year period. You didn't even read Year of Yes and were
No.
inspired by it. That's
Yes.
like even amazing because reading it, you're just like, yes, I'm going to do this. But I mean, the message, regardless, is still strong, right? And you know, what I want to tell people is the difference to me between people who are successful in living out their dreams and not is action.
Yeah. You got to put in the work. You can't just sit there and hope that someone's gonna give it to you. You gotta take it. I mean, I'm serious. You just gotta just, like I said, I'm going to make it or else. I'm taking it, and don't apologize for it, because there are gonna be people that are not gonna like what you do, and that's okay. You just appeal to the people who do. You're gonna find your people, like you said.
Yes.
I'm a student of Nache. Will find you. So
Yes, building your community, right? I mean, it's like what you do. You refine it over time, right? So, question before I get to my wrap up questions
mhm.
is okay. So many things, from the exhibition to your courses that are recorded so people can go through them. God, I still can't think of that term. It's gonna drive me crazy, but that's okay. People who
Like,
can
you'll think about it tomorrow, like when you wake up, and you're like, oh, okay, I'll just edit that in later. I
right.
can't
I'll
remember
put it in the
it.
intro. I'll be like, when you guys hear me trying to think of the term, this was the term I was trying to think of.
But
But from courses kind of you do maybe in person with the college to all the different types of courses. Like, you are the master at courses too. To just being active even on social media and teaching people through your videos, right? On social media, because people are also just learning from you, like just watching what you do on YouTube or Instagram or what have you. What's next? You've done all this amazing stuff, had your year of yes, and accomplished all the things. Like, what is Sarah going to do, end of year 22, beginning of year 23?
well, I actually have a plan.
Let's hear it. I love a good
And
plan.
and
I love a good plan.
once I pontificate what I'm about to say, then I'm gonna be held accountable. I know it. You and then
You
if
know it.
Lakay hears this, she's gonna be like, Sarah said. I don't know. I know. But as soon as I say it out loud, it must happen.
It
Right?
will be.
Okay. I haven't made any quote unquote normal YouTube videos since October last year, because I needed to take a break. And at that time I had made like 100 videos, but I was like, so am I gonna make another stamping video? That sounds
Mm,
boring to
mm.
myself.
Right?
I'm
Because you've
sure
done
people
so
are like,
many.
I'm sure people are like, you know what, Sarah, please make more. And I'm like, no, just go back and watch the old ones. The funny thing is, before I get to the real thing, the funny thing is, my YouTube page doubled after I stopped making them.
Where do you think where is the traffic coming from? Do you think it's just from being all the different places and people looking you up and being
Yes,
like, "Oh, she's on
yes,
YouTube. Let me like binge watch
yes.
her YouTube
And
videos now."
they binge watch all of them,
Mm.
and then share with their friends, and then they binge watch, and then so on and so forth. And I'm like, I didn't do anything. I didn't promote anything. I didn't share anything. It's all there, right?
Yes.
but But what I want to do is create a series. And there's this show. I mean, it was a podcast, so it wasn't like a video show, but
Mhm.
I forget the name of it, but I will give it to you so you can put it in the show notes, because I
Thank
don't
you.
remember the name. Yeah. But basically, this person would go to a museum and look at a piece of art, and they would talk about it. I think
Mm.
a couple of times she had different guest artists on there. She had Questlove on there, and they talked about this painting and how it made them feel and everything. And they only did 10 episodes, but however, I've listened to it 3 times because I'm so fascinated as to how it was done. Even though I can't see it, my mind can visualize what's happening.
Mhm.
And because they were talking about, I went and researched the work that they were talking about and wanted
Mm.
to see it, right?
Mhm.
So my dream, and hopefully I'll start filming them in October, and I'm gonna release them like Beyonce and be like, here's 10. But my dream is to go visit all the local, we're in DC, Maryland, Virginia. How many museums are there? Right?
Like
Go and visit the museum,
ridiculous amount.
hone in on one piece that really like resonates with me. And in the video, research that artist, and look up other things they had done, and kind of shine a light on that artist,
Mhm.
then make work inspired by them.
Wow. Oh, I like it.
Then whatever those works are, because it'll be 10 works, would be in a solo exhibition.
Yes, just admiring the people. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Because it brings, number one, exposure to some of the artists that you love or discover, and then showing what you've created based on, yeah, that inspiration. Also, I
Yeah.
want to say, so I've been doing, because I took a couple months off, now I'm back. And I've been doing like a lot of research just so I could determine, okay, where do I want to focus my time and energy? And I think I said this last season, but I really do think YouTube is the place. I think out of all the different social media platforms, I feel like that one to me is the one that can actually bring in more income and help people reach their audience the most. Just based on people I've researched and just seeing what works for certain people. I can't wait to, I'm a stalker. So I'm gonna be looking out for these videos. And I
I
can't.
know. That's what you mean. You said what episode is this? You said in whatever episode that you're going to do this. Where are those videos? and I know it. That's why if I say it now, it's going to be like set in stone. But
But
I
I
did buy
can't,
equipment, so I'm like,
yeah.
I'm waiting for her.
But I can't wait to see what it does because my goal is to increase my videos, especially on productivity, like Notion. I'm a big Notion junkie for productivity. So I'm like working on like some videos now for that. And so I can't wait to see how you create it and then market it and then see what comes from that effort. That's going to be exciting. And just to see like the work you do too, like what solo exhibition you end up doing it, like who you end up doing it for and what the work looks like. So I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
um
And I think also it's giving me something to look forward to. And because I had that lull between the solo exhibitions and I didn't really do anything or make anything. And I'm not really rushing to do something. I'm just taking a break, and that's okay.
No, you know what? I think it is a 100% okay. And this kind of goes back to what I was chatting about earlier because there's seasons in life. There's seasons in life where you're working like crazy. It's seasons in life where you have this balance and you're working, doing other stuff too. And then there are seasons where you're just like, you know what? Mm-mm.
Yep.
Like
Because
I need a break, you know?
yeah, I was posting every day on Instagram, and now it's, you know what? If I post, if I don't, I don't. And yeah.
And that's fine, right? I mean, I think it's 100% fine. It's funny because I follow several newsletters and there was this one girl who did conferences years ago and she was like a beast at her newsletter and for 2 years I didn't hear anything and I didn't even notice that I didn't hear anything until I started hearing things again. And then all of a sudden I was like, "Dang, I'm getting like 2 emails a week from her." But it was funny, I didn't unsubscribe or whatever cuz I still liked her content. But I just thought to myself, something happened where she could not create those events anymore, or she just didn't have the space, time. Maybe it was COVID. I don't know what it was. But now she's back and she's back
Right.
with a vengeance. And so, yeah, so I love that, like, you're in this kind of like new season of life. It's like the year of maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll
While
do that.
while encouraging myself because we forget. Because you did tons of rejections. I mean, lots.
Yeah.
And then you get the one, yeah, we'll have you. But you gotta remember, don't, and I'm still guilty of it sometimes. I was teaching a class recently and everyone loved the class except one person. And I'm like still thinking about what that one person said. And I'm like, why do I keep doing that? Why can't I just celebrate that, 99.9% enjoyed the class? Let's just stay right there and not worry about the one comment.
Yeah.
But
It's
it's so
human nature.
hard.
Yeah.
So hard.
I get it. It is hard. And then it's just working to try to push it aside as soon as it creeps up in your brain, reminding yourself because it's like you can't just turn it off. Like it's once it's there,
Yeah.
it's there, but you can't just be like Sarah, what are you thinking? Okay, this is like one person.
Just
Move on. Let me think about the 99.9% of people who loved it, and then it helps you not obsess over it. Because I think we've all been there where we obsess over that one thing.
yeah, exactly. And I think the other thing too is I'm starting to think about other ways because even in my Micah class, even though it is in person,
Mm,
I have recorded videos of me making certain structures so that way my students can go back and rewatch it. Because
mm,
doing class, it's hard to remember. So I'm
mm-hmm,
like, I'm creating something like a hybrid experience for even the in-person thing. And I was thinking, I was talking to folks at Pyramid Atlantic, what if we did this hybrid thing where you recorded it and then they come to you in person after they've done
mm,
it.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And what you need to pick your brain and push whatever that is to the next level. And so that's like in the back of my brain. Maybe I'll do something about that next year. But creating, maybe it's just be with me, create an experience where on my website, there's, and I'm putting it out in the atmosphere, where I do the technique on you, you pay for that, and then you come visit me
Mm,
and we expand upon what you learned. Because I
yeah.
think people learn different ways. And I know for me, I have to do it. If I have to be there. I want to be there and I have to do it along with you in order for me to understand. Because that's how my brain works. So
Mm-hmm,
if you tell me and it's a lecture, I'm lost until I
mm-hmm.
use my hands in doing the said thing. So that's important to me. So I'm trying to figure out, there's the VAK assessment where you understand if you're a visual, auditory, or kinesthetic learner. And so I'm
I don't think I've heard of that.
oh yeah, I'm trying to create avenues where every type of learner can get something out of what I'm teaching. Does it make
Mm.
sense?
Oh, wait till I tell Lakay, we love a good assessment. From Enneagram to Myers Briggs to like.
I'm a number 4. Okay, I'm a
Are
number
you?
4.
Are you?
I am. Like I don't. I'm like, oh, woe is me. I'm static, and I love making things, but don't hate it. Please don't hate it.
Right. Oh my god, it's so scary how accurate the Enneagram is. Even
Spot
though
on.
Lakay is still trying to say she's not a 5, I'm not a 5. I'm like, but you are.
But you
Just like I
are.
know I'm an 8, you a 5, and now we know Sarah's a 4.
Yes, and 4 and 8 work well together.
They do.
That's why we're still talking.
Right. But no, I'm gonna have to look up that VAK assessment. Look, this is why I just love this podcast and just talking to people because you just learn so much. And that's why 30 minutes always turns into an hour. But okay,
Yeah.
so let me wrap it up though. Let me wrap it up.
Okay. Okay.
And clearly we're just gonna have to have Sarah back on again, people, but
Oh
she
yeah,
doesn't.
please.
So for my first question, because I love my organization, my productivity, how do
Mhm.
you stay organized? And I know like you
Great
love to stay
question.
organized. You've already mentioned like Excel sheets and so forth. So what do you do to keep it all together?
Okay, so my very favorite, and it's and I will throw money at them. They can have my money every year. I don't give a care. Grammarly.
Oh, yes, yes, and yes. Take my
I don't
$139. Here you
care.
go.
Take it. Anything. I run anything through that thing.
Yes.
I,
I do like Instagram posts, blog
you
posts.
name it, I run it through. My bishop will send me something. I'm like, I'm running it through Grammarly first before you send it. I don't care. Like I'm putting my money to that. They deserve it. They deserve it. All
I
of it.
concur.
That's how
Yes.
I got through writing my thesis. Is
It's
Grammarly.
yeah.
I put the whole paper in there.
You're
All
like,
50
oop,
pages.
yep. Oh yeah, that does sound better. You know what? I did use this word too many times.
Yeah, you right. You right. Um,
Yes. Love it.
my next Calendly. I look. They can have my money. Do you understand when I do interviews, like because I'm a manager of recruitment success for Pyramid. When I do interviews, instead of me saying, when are you available? Right? So I'd be like, here's the link. I'm available this time and this time, and then you can customize it. And I'm like, you select your date and time. And I just
Yeah.
watch the appointments come through, and I just forward it to the hiring manager, and we're ready to go.
I mean, it is so amazing.
So
And folks out there, they have a free version and they have a paid version. A free version is also amazing, but if you need, they have like amazing bells and whistles, so you could do the paid version too.
I
But Calendly is like gold.
pay for that. And then when I found out that it's Black owned,
It is, yes.
like, what? Now you really can have my money.
Here you go. Here you go. Here you go. Yes, support
And
Black-owned business.
I watched it. It was on YouTube. It was like talking about like him being the CEO. I don't remember his name, but he was talking
Yeah,
about,
I forgot
yeah.
that too.
I was like trying to schedule this meeting with my friends, and we kept like somebody was available and nobody was available, and it was just annoying to me. And I was like, what if there was an app? I was like, yes, that's why you're a billionaire, okay?
And that's why I tell you, people, one word: action. Actually acting on those ideas. There's like a billion great ideas out there that we will never see, or someone
Right.
else will steal your idea because you never did anything about it. And
Do it.
someone else, it floated to someone else, and now they making money from the idea you came up with 5 years ago.
Right. My next repost, I love it. Because some people forget to tag you.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh yeah, that's true. Yes, yes,
so I just repost it.
yes.
The best thing. I don't have to like, oh, let me screen.
Oh
And
right, no, like that is like too much, too much,
I don't
too
have time
much.
for that. I don't have time for that. And so I've
Yes,
taught people how to do repost. It's called repost. Yeah.
yeah.
I use it all the time. I think that's like my
No,
major,
those
like
are
three
two. Those
things.
are
Like,
three like amazing things. Yeah, I feel like those are good. I forgot. I might use repost too. I can't even remember the name of it. I just know that there's an app that I use to repost stuff, and yeah, it is called repost.
yeah, it's the easiest way. And then you can change it because sometimes people post it as a regular video. You can change it to a reel instead of,
Oh yeah.
because people, and that's the thing with Instagram algorithm, it's like reels are the thing. I haven't been doing many photos lately. I just do reels.
Mm.
And even if I do use a photo, I just make it a slideshow with music.
Right. You're like, there we go.
Like, yeah, I got you. Like, you're not gonna.
Right. But I love
Yeah.
reposts too because I've even used it for the podcast because usually I'll put out whatever on that Monday, but like that Wednesday or Thursday, I always want to like showcase work. So for you, I might be like, ooh, what are 4 pieces that I really love from Sarah? And I'll be like, 1, 2, 3, 4, repost, save image, save image,
Right.
save image.
Exactly.
Check out these
That's how
amazing pieces from Sarah Matthews.
it's so much easier.
And there's no watermark or anything because I think I
Right.
probably at some point
Take
probably
it off.
paid for it. Yeah, you could take it off. So yes, those 3 things are gold, and I will link all 3 of them in the show notes. And then I always ask, do you have a hobby? So when you're not printmaking and doing all the things, bookbinding, is there something else that calms you, brings joy to your
Okay.
heart?
So when I was a child, my mom was a seamstress, or she still makes clothes and everything, but she was like, that was her entrepreneurial side business when we were kids. And we used to make all sorts of different things like quilts and pillows and dolls and all that stuff. But when I got to high school or middle school, they made you can only choose one art. So I chose music because I was really interested in playing the flute. So I played the flute all the way through into my 12th grade. And when I was going to college, my parents were like, "Oh, you can't major in music because you need to be able to get a job." And I don't fault them for this, but I really wanted to go to school for music.
Mm-hmm.
Especially during the pandemic, I've been like playing around with the piano because I used to take piano lessons, but I've been like trying to learn different songs and everything. And just so happened, where is it? I just ordered this. It's an OP1 I don't know. I don't know if you can
Mm.
see it.
Oh
OP1.
yeah, I can see it's kind of yeah, yeah.
And because
Oh,
my
it's almost like a little board or like a
can do it's a synthesizer, so it does drums, and so you can make your own arrangements.
yeah.
So this is going to be my new hobby because not only will I be making videos, but I'm hoping to be able to make the music to go along with it.
Oh my goodness, I love it.
But that's a dream. But I may end up using. Oh, that's the other thing. What's the music place? I use Epidemic Sound for my background music.
Ah,
So any of the music that's featured on my YouTube channel, I use Epidemic Sound because if you try to use like regular music, you'll get copyright strikes.
mm,
That's another tool that it's useful. It is paid, but then you have a peace of mind that you're not going to get any copyright strikes or getting your videos taken down. But
mm-hmm,
I will be because I it takes me a while to get to my work. So I'll listen to all the songs and decide what I'm going to put in my future videos. So
mm-hmm,
I created a playlist on my iTunes that has all the music that I liked, and then I use that to create my current videos. Even because on Instagram, if you are doing a collaboration with I have done with Speedball, but
mm,
because they're a business, they can't utilize the same music that I would utilize on my Instagram page.
mm-hmm,
So if you create a post or a reel and add them as a collaborator, you wouldn't be able to. So then I have
mm,
to create videos with the Epidemic Sound music so that way they could post it at the
mm-hmm,
same. Because I think doing a collaboration is better because it gets posted on both pages and it's the same messaging
mm-hmm.
and versus like you both posting it on your own because then more people can see it at the same time. So I suggest if you're ever doing that with someone, do a collaboration. Again, if it's a business, you're gonna have to use some kind of music. But the YouTube audio library is pretty cool too. But I just love the music that is made, and then you get to see the artist, like photos of the artist
Yeah.
too. And I don't know, I just think it's more interesting. And I will again gladly throw my money at them.
Yeah, no, no, no. Yeah, I've used a couple others, but I don't know if I've used them. I will definitely check them out, and I think that's some good advice on the music because it's so weird on the Nache Snow Instagram. If I kind of like use music that they allow you to save or whatever from other artists, I haven't had too many issues. But on my Dream Plans Ideas Instagram account, even though it's music that they will even allow me to kind of save in my audio library, I've been getting these messages lately that's saying like copyright infringement and it will not be played in these countries and da 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 da. And I'm just like, then why did you even give me an option
I
to
know.
actually use the
That's
music?
what happened because I use for Juneteenth, I used John Baptiste's We Are album because again, it's Juneteenth. I wanted to celebrate and I wanted to shine light on John Baptiste because he's amazing. And then I got those strikes and I'm like, but you allowed me to select it. Like then it shouldn't be there.
And it's so weird because there was one and I almost was like, oh, maybe I should delete it. But I was like, I looked at it and I was like, whatever. And I was like, if no one sees it, no big deal. Cause I'm really just posting these for myself, especially on the dreams, plans, ideas. I just like posting my bullet journal stuff. But it was weird. I got that message, but then it still got a couple thousand views. So I'm like, this is
I
so
know.
ridiculous.
It
Like
makes no
it makes no sense. I think what you're saying is 100%. Like if you want to do a collaboration or if you don't want to have any risk of your stuff being taken down, just get your own music, pay for music, but especially on YouTube because YouTube don't play. Like you gotta have
they
your
don't,
own music on YouTube.
they don't play
They don't
because
play.
within seconds you posting it, it'll tell you.
It's like, no, sorry. No one will see this because, yeah, you're breaking the law. No. But oh my goodness. Okay, Sarah, this has been amazing.
An
So
hour.
where can everybody find you? Because I know people are like, I am pumped. I want to do some printmaking or some bookbinding, or I want to buy some work from her. Where can they find you?
You can go to my website. I am sarahmatthews.com, which I'm very proud of. You'll see links to my CV, my videos, and they're also linked to my classes. And all you got to do is click on them and join me in person. And then also it links to YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. So I don't even have to give you those links because it's all there on the website.
Right. I
Yay.
mean, just saying, it's all about the website, people. I'm just saying. It's your communication
It's,
tool to the world.
it's important. Even though people are like, oh, websites are so last year. Just do it. Just
Just do
even if
it.
you make one page that scrolls up and down, that's better than nothing.
100% because it gives you credibility. Whenever I like see someone and they don't have a website, I'm just like, you are not legit, my friend. I don't even know anything about you. You just have an Instagram account, and I'm supposed to trust that, like, you got something going? Nah, I need to see some proof.
Oh
I
my
need
God.
some.
Like you were my inspiration because 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 after our the 102 episode, I was like, I'm redoing everything. And I did. I don't have you seen it? I
I,
redid everything.
I did. It's so funny because I have it up right now. And I was just like, okay, Sarah is a boss. Not only was she all over social media, like this website screams you, right? I mean,
Oh, and I
I am
am
just
team
flooded with the
Squarespace.
patterns and everything. I love it.
Yes.
Oh, you team?
And
Oh, it's gonna be like, whoop, whoop.
I know. When I listened to the episode, I was like, I'm Squarespace. I know they can't hear me. I'm Squarespace. And I made it on Squarespace, okay?
But no, it is. I love it because you have, and people, the link is going to be in the show notes. But if you're on your phone right now, go to iamsarahmatthews.com. But this embodies to me your brand, like knowing you and following you from the colors. You got the motion to the video at the bottom, which I love, and even the video in the middle. This is it, right? So even if I didn't know you and I came here, I would be like, and if I was a creative person, I would automatically be like, she's my people. She is my people.
Feels so
Her stuff
good.
is
I'm gonna cry.
amazing. Simple, clear navigation. Is I am a printmaker. I am a book artist. You got the classes, got the video shop, got interviews. She got her CV. You want to hire me, people? You want me to be in the exhibition? Here you go. Download my stuff.
Right.
I love it. And,
Yeah. Click on the
I
interviews.
love it.
Click on the interviews. Click on the interviews.
I mean, right there, people. She got the Studio 78 up on there.
That's right. That's right.
I love it. And the thing about it too, the last thing I'll say, which is super important, is it works. Like I'm looking at it on my computer, but I have looked at it on my phone too. And
Yeah.
regardless if it's the phone or the computer, it's responsive.
Yep.
So people can still get the same vibe regardless of where you're looking at it. So nice work, Sarah.
Thank you. I'm gonna change it next year, though. I already decided I'm changing it next year.
Oh my goodness. Sarah is amazing. After listening back to this episode, I was like, oh my goodness, I just felt so inspired because it just goes to show you that hard work, determination, believing in yourself, you can and will, my friends, accomplish your dreams. Kudos to you, Sarah. Thanks again for coming on. Also, know Sarah and I are going to try to get together maybe in October or so to go to a museum and maybe do some video captures and share it on both of our platforms. So, if you aren't following us already on Instagram and YouTube, please be sure to do that so you don't miss that. As I mentioned in the beginning, all the things Sarah mentioned over in the show notes, nachesnow.com/150. If you're looking to get organized or just reset, remember to just head on over to my shop, dreamsplansideas.com. Check it out. I've got some good stuff over there. If you love the podcast, sharing is caring, my friends. Also, please rate me 5 stars on Apple, give me a thumbs up on YouTube or whatever the rating is on whatever platform you use. It's really, really appreciated and goes a long way. And of course, subscribe wherever you're listening to this from. All right. Have an amazing week. And until next week, my friends, have a good one. Bye.